Imagine standing on the biggest stage of your life, with thousands of people cheering your name, and then, in a single moment, everything you've ever worked for is taken away from you. Your career, your passion, your identity, gone. Now, imagine being told by doctors that you will never do the one thing you love most, ever again. What would you do? Would you give up? Would you accept your new reality? Or would you fight back in a way no one ever expected? Today, I want to share with you the true story of a woman who lost something most of us would consider impossible to live without. And yet, she came back stronger, more brilliant, and more legendary than ever before. Stay with me until the end, because the single sentence she said when asked how she did it will change the way you look at your own struggles forever. Her name was Sudha Chandran. In her home country of India, she wasn't just a dancer, she was a phenomenon. From the time she was a little girl, she could feel the rhythm of classical music move through her body like electricity. By her early 20s, she had become one of the most celebrated classical dancers of her generation, performing on the grandest stages, admired by critics and adored by audiences who packed every theater just to watch her move. Then, one ordinary day, everything changed. Sudha was involved in a terrible car accident. She survived, but the injury to her right leg was severe, and an infection set in that doctors simply could not control. After weeks of fighting, the medical team gave her the news that no dancer could ever imagine hearing. To save her life, they had to amputate her right leg. Think about that for a moment. A dancer losing her leg. It would be like a painter losing both hands or a singer losing her voice. For most people, that would be the end of the story, the final curtain. But Sudha refused to write that ending. While she was still recovering in the hospital, while friends and family were trying to comfort her and prepare her for a new, quieter life, she was already thinking about how to get back on stage. She was fitted with a prosthetic leg, a simple device called the Jaipur Foot, and from the very first day she began training again. Not walking, not just standing, dancing. The pain was unbearable. Every movement sent fire through her body. She fell again and again, sometimes hundreds of times in a single practice session. But she got back up every single time. Months turned into years of relentless work, sweat, and tears. And then, one night, Sudha Chandran walked back onto the stage in front of a stunned audience, and she danced, not as a survivor, not as a victim. She danced as a master of her craft, and once again, she became one of the greatest classical dancers in the world. When reporters and admirers asked her how on earth she had done it, how she had come back from such a devastating loss to reach the very top once more, she didn't give a long, complicated answer. She simply smiled and said, "You don't need feet to dance." Here's the truth that Sudha's story leaves us with, and it's a truth that applies to every single one of us. No matter what we're facing right now, we spend so much of our lives believing that our power comes from our circumstances, from our resources, from the things we have. We tell ourselves, if only I had more money, more time, a better body, a better job, a better past, then I could finally live the life I want. But Sudha showed us something completely different. She showed us that real strength doesn't live in your legs, or your arms, or your bank account, or your resume. Real strength lives in your spirit. It lives in the decision you make every single morning to keep moving forward. No matter what life has taken from you, you don't need feet to dance. You don't need perfect conditions to chase your dream. You don't need permission from anyone to start again. Whatever you've lost, whatever you've been through, whatever the world has told you that you can no longer do, there is always a way back. There is always another stage. There is always another dance. If this story moved you, if it touched something deep inside of you, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. Tell me what you've been through, what you're fighting to come back from, or simply what this story made you feel. Your words mean more than you know. They're what give me the energy and the motivation to keep creating and sharing stories like this one with you. So please, take a moment, share your thoughts, and let's build this community of people who refuse to give up. I'll be reading every single comment.